Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first official episode of Timeless Truth. For those of you who are just joining us, we're kicking it off with the first chapter of the very first book of the Bible, Genesis. Now, before we delve in, I'd like to provide a few key tips to promote the best learning experience possible. Number one, read the Bible for yourself. Whether you attend church services in person or virtually, nothing is more important than having a personal relationship with God. There are deceitful pastors out there. Be careful. And make no mistake, this is not surprising to God. He already exposed them and warned us that in the last days, false prophets and doctrines and teachings would arise, and teachers, would arise. So the only people who fall for it are those who unfortunately don't have a close enough relationship with God. Number two, ask questions and pray about them. You want answers? Well, open yourself up to them. Christ said to approach God as a child, not as someone who thinks they understand everything in the Bible. Number three, read carefully. We ought to live by each and every word of the Bible, and the language and literary style of the Bible is intentional and efficient. Anyway, that's all I've got for now. If I think of any other tips, or if anyone else does, please feel free to comment below. With that said, let's get started with Genesis chapter 1, the beginning. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Ooh, mysterious. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. I don't know why we always do deep voices for God, but we imagine he's big, so he's got to have a deep voice. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth." And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens, to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens, to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. And God said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven." And God created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth." And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And God said, Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them. And God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. Meat back then was for food. Now, specifically because language has evolved and changed over time, meat now is specifically understood to be flesh, like when you eat beef, for example. But meat in this context was food. Moving right along. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Now, we just read the first book of Genesis, and the first chapter of Genesis, I'm sorry. And there are a number of things that are abundantly clear here. There are many times in which God repeats himself, or I should say the writer of Genesis repeats certain things. And I'd like for us to look at what is being repeated over and over, because repetition is the Bible's primary means of emphasizing certain things. Because keep in mind, this was a time before italics and bold font, underlining, etc., things like that. So anyway, I'd love to chat more and share my takeaways on the next episode. But in the meantime, just think about what's most repeated in the first book of Genesis, okay? And we'll meet on the next one.